Welcome back everyone to a brand new update on the best champions to escape low elo for Season 13. In this video, we will be providing you guys with 3 champions for every single role that are most optimal anywhere from iron all the way up to gold. But before we get into it, be sure to check out SkillCapped if you want to truly get better at League of Legends. We're the only service that offers a money-back guarantee if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. We do this because our service really does work, and if it doesn't work for you, you shouldn't pay. Learn more at the end of this video or click the link in the description below. One champion that has shot up in power as of recent and is a superb pick for all ELO brackets is Ornn. Ornn is such a great champion for the lower ranks for a couple of different reasons. First is that Ornn scales like an absolute monster, being able to upgrade his teammates' items once he reaches level 14. Since low ELO games tend to last longer on average, reaching these later levels to upgrade items happens much more often. Now, you may be wondering, well, isn't Ornn just a tank? How am I supposed to carry with a tank in low ELO? Sure, Ornn is a tank, but he has the ability to deal as much damage as some assassins with his full combo. This is what makes Ornn so reliable for low elo, because you're durable enough so that making the odd mistake doesn't get punished as hard, but you've also got great damage and teamfight impact as well. The build to run on Ornn is a Sunfire Rush into Jockshow 2nd and Thornmail or Force of Nature 3rd. Grasp is the Keystone rune with Demolish, Second Wind, and Overgrowth. Free Boots and Biscuits are for secondaries. Another top lane champion with similar strength to Ornn and our second selection is Malphite. Malphite is definitely a little bit easier to pick up and see success with right away, so if you don't have very much time to be consistent on someone like Ornn, look the way of Malphite. Much like Ornn, Malphite is able to build full tank and remain a legitimate carry threat thanks in part to his abilities scaling off his armor. The more armor you buy, the more damage your W and E will deal, which is amazing. It's inevitable you're going to lose lane every now and then, no matter what champ you're playing, but by picking someone like Malphite, who has amazing teamfight presence, no matter how hard you feed early on, there's always a way back into the game. You could be laning against an Aurelia, she gets a few kills on you through jungle ganks, so you're behind early on, but you reach 2 items, lock her down in teamfights, and that early lead she got ends up meaning absolutely nothing in the end. Coming up in patch 13.10, it also looks like you'll now be able to use teleport anywhere on the map at 10 minutes instead of 14, which is going to bode super well for these tank tops to impact bot lane. Build for Malphite is an Iceborne Gauntlet Rush into Sunfire Aegis 2nd and a situational tank item 3rd. W Max with Grasp works best in those melee lanes where you will be able to auto attack on a consistent basis, while Q Max with Comet is going to be the optimal in ranged matchups or against champions you cannot reliably trade autos with. To round out the top 3 for top lane, we have a bit more of a pure carry being Mundo. With Heartsteel being such a disgusting item on Mundo and with his E damage scaling off his max health, the durability and damage is actually unfair. You're able to point and click auto attack the enemy to death while taking very minimal damage in return, which makes Mundo such a consistent low elo performer. There are definitely ways to express your skill on the champion, but the skill floor of Mundo is quite low, meaning you can pick him up and be impactful almost immediately. One thing a lot of high elo Mundo players do that many low elo players don't is that they run Ghost instead of Flash. Ghost heavily outperforms Flash stat-wise in every single elo bracket on Mundo, but it's only picked in about 15% of low elo games. As a champion who needs to stick right up close on his target to be effective, the movement speed from Ghost is more often than not way more valuable in skirmishes than Flash is. As for the build, it's a Heartsteel Rush into Sunfire Aegis 2nd and Spirit Visage or Thornmail 3rd. Rune Page is Grasp with Demolish, Second Wind, and Overgrowth, followed by Magical Footwear and Approach Velocity for secondaries. Moving on to the jungle top 3, these champions who have reliable lockdown are very consistent for the lower ranks, and first up is Vi. Oftentimes games in solo queue and especially in the lower ranks just comes down to which team finds a catch play first on someone who's out of position. With Vi having the engage range of Q, Flash, and R, she is one of the best champions at capitalizing on these positional errors. It's also much less likely for you to mess up ganks post 6 when playing a champion like Vi, thanks to her point and click ultimate. Skirmish, teamfight, dueling power, Vi can do a little bit of everything, which makes her a great champ to main if you're looking to climb low elo. Now, the build for Vi can vary depending on preference and what team comps are looking like. Bruiser Vi is going to be the cookie cutter build you can't go wrong with regardless of the game. If the enemy comp is super squishy, however, then going Lethality Vi is viable as well, but does leave you with less margin for error due to its lack of durability. If you're just picking up Vi, we definitely recommend starting with Bruiser, and then once you get the hang of her, start implementing the Lethality build. For the Rune Page, take Halo Blades with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter. Triumph and Alacrity are the best secondaries. Next up for our second jungle selection, we have Nocturne. We like Nocturne a lot for similar reasons to Vi, as you have incredibly strong catch power and a very easy win condition to play towards each game. Farming through 6 and looking to make an impact through ult plays is a very simple game plan to execute on consistently. Whenever ultimate is available, playing towards whichever teammates provide you the best gank setup will ensure the highest chance of securing kills. For example, even though ganking bot would be preferred preferred in most cases. If your bot lane is playing something like Soraka or Janna, who provide very poor setup, it may not be the best investment of your time. If your top laner is playing Malphite or Ornn, who have incredible CC power, playing towards them will give you a better chance at securing kills and getting ahead. Standard core build for Nocturne is the Stridebreaker Rush into Black Cleaver 2nd and Death's Dance 3rd. Lethal Tempo is the Keystone Rune with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Grab Eyeball Collection and Ultimate Hunter for secondaries. Our first two jungle recommendations were both AD fighters, so if you want to add an AP jungler to your champion pool as well, Amumu is a phenomenal option. Buffs in 13.9 have led to Amumu's win rate absolutely skyrocketing, way more than most people would have expected, including our analysts. It's sitting at around 54% right now for the lower ranks, so if you're looking for some free elo, Amumu is the pick to spam. W got buffed from 12 all the way up to 20 damage per tick at rank 1, which for a spell that he maxes out last is absolutely incredible. The added DPS this change provides throughout an extended fight is insanely big, and is the reason his win rate has seen such a spike. Build for Amumu is a Demonic Embrace Rush into Joksho 2nd and Sunfire Aegis 3rd. The rune page is Conqueror with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand, followed by Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter for secondaries. There's really no better mid laner for the lower ranks than Aurelion Sol if you just want that quick and easy elo. Reworked Aurelion Sol has been dumbed down so much that he's very simple to play at an effective level. Aurelion scales like a monster, but has a bit of a weaker early game, which makes him way more viable for low elo than high elo. In high elo, Aurelion has a much more difficult time succeeding due to players being able to more consistently punish his weaker lane. This simply doesn't happen as often in low elo, and if you allow Aurelion to reach a couple of items, he's going to single-handedly take over games. The build for Aurelion Sol is a Rod of Ages Rush into Rylai's 2nd and Archangel's 3rd. Comet is the Keystone Rune with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Gathering Storm. Roll with Freeboots and Minion Dematerializer for secondaries. Another mid lane champ who takes very little skill in order to be extremely effective on is Malzahar. Malz is consistently a 53% win rate champ for the lower ranks because he is a beast on 3 items and hard counters all the melee dive champs low elo players like to spam come team fights. Malz is quite similar to Aurelion in the sense that his pre-6 is where he can be exploited the most. With Malz, your main goal through the first couple of levels is to acquire as much farm as possible while keeping the wave on your side of the lane. You don't want to be spam pushing with W early on Malz, especially against mobile melee champs, because you're way too vulnerable. Get to that lost chapter buy, and then you can start hard pushing waves and looking for plays around the map with your jungler. The build for Malz is a Liandry's Rush into Rylai's 2nd and Demonic Embrace 3rd. Run Airy for the Keystone Rune with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Optimal secondaries are Magical Footwear and Cosmic Insight. Let's be real here. A best champs for low elo video would not be complete without Annie making an appearance. Sure, the champion may not be the most flashy or fun to play, but if your main goal is to rank up and escape low elo, she's going to give you a much greater chance in a shorter amount of time. You can play any champion in the game and eventually escape low elo with dedication, but with how low of a skill floor Annie has, she makes everything so much easier. Even if you just have Annie in your champion pool to hard counter some of the most annoying champs you see in low elo, that's a great idea. Annie always performs amazing against Yasuo, Katarina, and Yone, so pulling her out to nullify those champs works wonders. The build for Annie is Eluden's Rush into Shadowflame 2nd and Zanya's or Rabadon's 3rd. Run Electrocute with Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter for primary runes. Best secondary page is Mana Flow and Absolute Focus. Running down our top 3 ADCs to climb low elo the fastest, starting us off will be Sivir. Playing ADCs in the lower ranks that can find ways to be impactful other than dealing damage is going to make things way easier for you. Sivir is a perfect low elo ADC for a few core reasons. The first is that her incredible wave clear from W and Q allows for you to stall out games way longer than any other ADC. If your team is behind early on, there's always a legitimate way to hang on and scale if you're playing Sivir. Throws happen all the time in the lower ranks, and often what will happen is the enemy team will become extremely impatient with you clearing every single wave, try to dive you, give up shutdowns, and the game is suddenly flipped in your favor. Sivir's ultimate is amazing as well because you have access to a tool that provides your team with power without needing to deal any damage at all. If you're not doing so hot but your teammates are picking up the slack, Sivir R does a great job at enabling your teammates to thrive. Core build for Sivir is a Kraken Slayer Rush into Navori Quickblade 2nd and Phantom Dancer 3rd. For runes, grab Lethal Tempo with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace, followed by Freeboots and Biscuits for secondaries. There's always one ADC that you simply can never go wrong with for the lower ranks, and that champ is Miss Fortune. MF is one of the few ADCs that requires very minimal mechanical skill to play at a serviceable level. Your main goal in every team fight with Miss Fortune should be to stick in the backline and be ready for that opportunity to throw down your R when your teammates engage. The range on Miss Fortune R allows you to stay at a relatively safe distance, yet still unload a mass amount of DPS. Oftentimes, you won't even need to auto-attack with MF, and you'll still come out of fights being way more impactful than the enemy ADC. Core build for Miss Fortune is a Kraken Slayer Rush into Bloodthirster 2nd and Infinity Edge 3rd. Grab Press the Attack for the Keystone Rune with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Free Boots and Biscuits are for secondaries. One ADC who's an extremely powerful pick no matter the ELO bracket right now is Jinx. The nerfs in 13.9 accomplished very little in actually weakening Jinx's Jinx's power level, as she's still an amazing pick. Jinx is even better for low elo because if you can reach 3 items, there are few ADCs who have better teamfight impact. Since games tend to last quite a bit longer in low elo, reaching that Infinity Edge spike will have you demolishing everyone in sight. The versatility of Jinx is super nice as well because she can be played with melee or enchanter supports to great success. Flame Chompers give her exceptional follow-up on melee supports, engage plays, and offer strong chain CC power in lane. Enchanter supports may not have the same amount of kill threat early on, but a Jinx being buffed up by Emilio or Lulu in teamfights is a very scary champion. Core build for Jinx is a Kraken Slayer rush into Phantom Dancer 2nd and Infinity Edge 3rd. Lethal Tempo is the Keystone Rune with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Optimal secondaries are Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. Kicking off the top 3 for support is going to be a pure carry pick, being Xerath. What makes Xerath such a strong champ for low elo is his ability to thrive against many of the highly picked low elo supports. Lux, Senna, and Morgana are constantly the most picked supports in low elo, and with Xerath's heavy range advantage, he can shut down what those supports want to do. Sure, Xerath may be more mechanically demanding than most supports, but by applying this simple rule, it's really not that bad. Brush control is key when playing a skill shot reliant support like Xerath, as throwing skill shots from the Fog of War makes them way harder for the enemy to dodge. Due to how long range Xerath's abilities are, you can camp out in the close brush to your tower instead of the middle brush and still find angles to poke the enemy down. As long as you're throwing your skill shots when the enemy ADC is going for last hits, they really aren't difficult to land, especially when using them from Fog. Build for Xerath is a Luden's Rush into Horizon Focus 2nd and Shadow Flame 3rd. For the rune page, it's First Strike with Free Boots, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight, followed by Mana Flow and Scorch for secondaries. If you want a carry support who doesn't require as much mechanical skill to pull off, then look into maining Heimerdinger. Heimer is a very unique support because he's able to set up many plays that most other supports can only dream of. Push power is exceptionally strong, so you can shove the enemy ADC under tower and drastically limit the amount of farm they're able to secure. Low elo ADCs are going to have a much more difficult time securing farm under turret, so you can amass a huge advantage by using your shove power. Your macro play can really shine on a champ like Heimer because of his incredible objective taking power. Heimer turrets allow him to melt Dragon and Baron, and you'll find yourself in positions to sneak an early Baron almost every single game. Nobody in low elo expects a 20-minute Baron, so if you can acquire vision topside prior to the objective spawning, pinging your team and looking to sneak it is an easy way to accelerate leads. Playing with a duo partner who plays a champion with strong DPS power is a great way to ensure this strategy works every single game as well. The build for Heimer is a Rylai's Rush into Liandry's 2nd and Zanya's 3rd. Rune page consists of Comet for the Keystone with Mana Flow, Absolute Focus, and Scorch. Best secondaries are Magical Footwear and Biscuits. And for our 3rd and final support recommendation, it's yet again another mage carry champ, being Zyra. Simply put, you cannot rely on your ADC to be a consistent damage threat in order to win. You should go into every single game hoping for the best, but being prepared for the worst. If your ADC has no clue what they're doing, and you're playing an enchanter or a melee engaged champ, you're more limited in ways to carry the game. By playing a support like Zyra though, your ADC really doesn't have to do anything for you to make an impact. Level 6 especially. Look to camp out in the side lane brush, and if the enemy ADC pushes up alone, it's free pickings with your full combo. The zone from Zyra R and plants make her a very powerful champion around objectives. Try and secure vision well before objectives spawn, camp out in the Fog of War, and poke away at the enemy team while they try to walk in. The build you should run on Zyra is a Liandry's Rush into Rylai's 2nd and Zanya's 3rd. Comet is the Keystone Rune with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch, followed by Taste of Blood and Relentless Hunter for secondaries. Alright guys, before we wrap this up, let's tell you a little more about SkillCapped. So, we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, and think that's a pretty crazy thing to offer. It's like a gym membership guaranteeing you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered that, right? Not us. We've offered this for years because our service really does work. It works so well, in fact, that we're able to produce by far the largest catalog of premium league guides on the internet. We add over 20 videos a week, with over 1,600 guides curated into over 100 courses no one can compare. We've also sent Challenger players into ELO Hell 714 times and counting, where they commentate how to carry live. They also respond to all questions asked. Sign up today for as little as $6.99 a month if you are serious about improving. So there you have it guys, the best champions to escape low elo for every single role in Season 13. Thanks so much for watching, good luck with your rank climbs, and we will catch you back soon.